Mika, you and I both know Ivanka Trump. Ivanka Trump has raised her hand as the champion for women in this White House. Stormy Daniels, how you feel about her career choice is neither here nor there. She didn't commit a crime. She supported herself. She supported her child. Do you wonder where Ivanka's voice is here?
I do. It's a fact, by the way, that Stormy Daniels got the payment through Michael Cohen from Donald Trump, which he lied about at first. I wonder where Ivanka's voice is on a number of issues. But back to the Rudy story, I'll tell you a couple of things. First of all, the hypocrisy is astounding, because I know someone who spoke to Donald Trump recently about life in the White House, and Donald Trump's biggest complaint was that he's not allowed to watch porn in the White House. So there you go. There's a little bit of news for you. He's upset that he can't watch porn in the White House.
I bet they have those, 1-900 numbers blocked too, which must be a disappointment.
I'm not really sure, but it just sort of flies in the face of all of this. But, I obviously, with my Know Your Value platform, feel really strongly about these comments. And they made my blood boil. I was shaking when I heard them. Elise Jordan, Walter Isaacson next to me, they both were shaken. Willie, Joe and I are going to do a really kind of major debrief on the entire thing on the Know Your Value website, because it goes down to value. Here he is undermining a woman's credibility because he says, look at her, and laughs derisively. What a pig. And then talks about looking at Donald Trump's wives. What a pig. And this is a guy who ran pageants, Donald Trump, for his living. Okay, so we're not even going to start going in.
A guy who went into the back room during teen pageants so he could watch those girls disrobe.
I'm not a fan of pageants, but I'm not going to judge someone doing pageants for a living. And, that's the Miss America pageant is making great progress.
Right.
So there's a lot to talk about there. But my point is, beyond the hypocrisy, this is a really bad day for women if this is exactly the person the president wants speaking for him. Telling people to look at someone and then laughing derisively, and it's a woman talking about she's not credible because look at her, and then comparing her to the president's wives. This is not the America that you and I have been trying to pave the way for women for. We have a long way to go for women knowing their value. The president and his attorney have taken us back, like decades.
It's a bad day for humanity. Imagine if the three of us sat here and said, look at those crazy old men.
Right.
Look at those crazy old cigar-smoking, wacky men spouting their mouths, spouting lies. I mean, they would say that we're inappropriate, we're ageist.
Right.
How is it in 2018 Rudy Giuliani can say this, and you don't have an immediate apology from the White House? How doesn't Ivanka Trump stand up and say, I'm making my way back to New York? This is too shameful.
Well, look, and remember, let's not forget Rudy Giuliani, a man spouting absurdities about the type of women he values and doesn't value, which is so offensive, and Mika has said it so correctly. He's a man who divorced his wife on television. She found out, Donna Hanover, that she was getting divorced when he announced it at a press conference. What kind of family values are those? He's the least qualified to talk about who is a person or a parent of value. And, as it goes for Ivanka, I mean, she, really made representations that she was going to be a champion of women, a champion of the LGBTQ community. She has been nothing but a hypocrite and a coward. She cowers in the White House and doesn't say anything when issues come up that clearly deserve her response and her voice.
What I wonder, Donald Trump appeared in a soft-core pornography movie himself called Centerfolds, I want to say in the early 2000s. So, Michael, it's sort of stunning that suddenly Rudy Giuliani has found some sort of, I'm not even going to say religion, some sort of faux highbrow family values nonsense. Donald Trump has had over a dozen women who have posed in Playboy, and I'm not judging it, on The Apprentice. He met Stormy Daniels at a Trump golf event. He didn't think she was too low end for him then. So what do? Do you try to file a defamation suit against Mr. Giuliani?
Well, we haven't decided what we're going to do, Stephanie, but I couldn't agree with your comments more. It's the hypocrisy of this president as it relates to women, and it's really astounding to have Mr. Giuliani criticize my client for how she looks and what she has done for a living, and basically tie that to her credibility and claim that she's not due any respect is ridiculous, especially when you look at, and I want to be really clear with what I'm about to say, you know, the First Lady of the United States, when she came to the United States, she engaged in modeling. Some of those pictures show her scantily clad. You know, they're beautiful photographs, by the way. No one judges her based on those pictures. No one judges her based on how she looks relating to her credibility or respect. If anyone were to do that, the White House would be clamoring, they would be demanding an absolute apology and that there be repercussions for that, and rightfully so. We're demanding the same. Giuliani should be fired immediately, not next hour, not tomorrow, not next week, right now. This cannot be permitted to stand. And then the last thing I'm going to say is Mr. Giuliani wants to talk about daughters. Well, let me tell you something. I have 2 young, amazing daughters. And regardless of what profession they may pick, and regardless of what they look like ultimately, if anyone were to ever make these remarks about them as women, I'd absolutely knock them out.